Is it a good idea to move the property into a brand new holdco after paying the land transfer tax? I believe a brand new first mortgage will be required anyway. Your thoughts, please.
I love this question. Thank you for this question. No, you would not want to transfer the title of a property that you already own in a personal name into a corp name. There is no need to do that. So in that planning for success piece, I talk about motor vehicles and a document called a bearer trust agreement. You can get a bearer trust agreement drawn up where the motor vehicle, the property, whatever the asset is, stays in the name that it's in. If it's in your personal name, it stays in your personal name, but it becomes the responsibility of the corporation. So all the accounting is done through the corporation and it's off your personal tax return. And they call it something slightly different in Ontario. Somebody will probably drop it in the chat, but it's called a bearer trust agreement here in BC.
What is the difference to keep cash in a holdco versus an opco?
Well, really the only thing you're talking about fundamentally there is the risk of potentially having a lawsuit filed against you on a specific date. And on that date, your opco had a bank balance of this, and those are the assets that are now at risk. So I made it a pretty regular habit to move money over on a monthly basis, if not a weekly basis, when you get to a certain volume.
What was the formula again for the Vanguard $2 million after 40 years? So I think you were talking about the TFSA compounding.
Yeah, I mean the Vanguard S&P index, it's actually paid out an average of 8.38%, I believe it is. I rounded it down to 8. And yeah, $525 every month, month after month, for 40 years at an 8% return results in $2.2 million sitting in your bank account. But more interestingly for the majority of us on this call, within 25 years, it's $595 grand. And 25 years, that goes by pretty quick, right? I mean, I completely blew mine up the first 5 years in with this dumb move I made. Don't be me. But back on track. 20 years to go.
If you put a bearer trust agreement on your principal residence, do you still get capital gains exemption if and when home is sold in the future?
No, and I think the only reason you would want your principal residence inside a holdco is if you are someone who doesn't own a principal residence right now, you've got no real equity in your current principal residence, so you just don't have much equity or cash in your personal name, and your corp is now earning significant money, well, it's a lot easier to save up a down payment with 89-cent dollars than it is with 50-cent dollars. So if you're pulling that money out of your corp personally, like I said, I mean, the purchase I closed at $1.4 million, there was no option of putting it in my personal name. I couldn't do that because the 300 grand, or let's call it the 400 grand sitting in my corp, for me to pull that out personally, yep, I would trigger $200,000 tax bill.
Yep.
So now I need another 200 to put that property into my personal name. So it isn't about moving an existing principal residence into a holdco. I don't think there's any real significant gains in that strategy. I mean, every case is different. But I think for people who haven't yet bought a principal residence, who are looking at accumulating their down payment from mortgage brokering, from commissions, this is how you get there much, much faster.
And just for clarity, he's talking about corporate tax rates versus personal income tax rates on that 11 cents on the dollar kind of lingo there.
And to be extra clear there, your corp pays 11% on what's left, your net profit in the corp. So if your company earned $100,000 and you took none of it out, you're paying $11,000 in tax, and that's that. Then if you decide to take the remaining $89,000 out personally, you will pay personal tax minus the $11,000, because in Canada we have tax integration, so you don't get double taxed. You do get the credit for the $11,000 you've already paid.
Last question. When you move your money to your holdco, do you have to pay taxes when you take it out? Did I already ask that question?
No, but I touched on that. I tried to touch on that a couple of times during the presentation. I recognize I was kind of picking the pace up there. Common question. There are no tax consequences When you refinance a property and pull equity out, you don't pay tax on that. That's your equity, it's not income. And now it's sitting in your corporation or it's sitting in your personal account. And when you loan it to another company, there's no tax. It's not income for that company, it's a loan. So then at some point in time, that company is going to pay that loan back. Maybe, or never.